Dragons sire 9 sons, all utterly different from one another. Few realize the fiercest, most vindictive of these 9 has been invoked as an insult in Chinese speech for over 1,000 years. Even the slightest sideways glare is an unforgivable slight to him. He will remember it for a lifetime, chasing his foe to the ends of the earth to exact blood retribution. With a jackal's head and a dragon's body, he is the unyielding, belligerent warrior of dragonkind. You may have guessed his name already, Yazi, the core of the idiom Yazi by Bao, meaning to avenge even the tiniest wrong, describing someone consumed by petty grudges and violent retaliation. The greater mystery lingers, however. If he is so narrow-minded and bloodthirsty, why did ancient craftsmen carve his likeness onto life-or-death weapons, as a guardian talisman to defend homes and kingdoms? How did this term for vengeful rage evolve from a warring state's moral maxim into one of the Dragon Emperor's 9 sons? This tale is far more than primitive mythology. It is a deliberate literary construct crafted by elite Ming Dynasty scholars, revealing the dual core of Chinese spirit, gentle mercy paired with unbreakable defensive resolve. Today we explore this rage-fueled dragon, forever clinging to cold steel and immortalized in our language. First, the origin of the word Yazi. It originally bore no connection to dragons at all. Ya refers to the outer corner of the eye, and Z the eye socket. Combined, the two words simply mean glaring fiercely, eyes stretched tight with unbridled fury. From its very inception, the term carried an aura of unbridled ferocity and defiance. Its link to endless vengeance traces back to Fan Zhu, a ruthless statesman of the Warring States period. Fan Zhu endured unspeakable humiliation in the state of Wei. Framed for treason, he was beaten until his ribs cracked and teeth shattered, then rolled into a straw mat and dumped in a latrine for others to defile. He feigned death to escape, barely surviving a harrowing flight to Qin. Rising all the way to Prime Minister of Qin with supreme authority, his first act upon gaining power was settling every old score. Records of the Grand Historian distills his life creed into 10 concise characters. Every bite of food given in kindness shall be repaid, every hateful glare shall be avenged. He rewarded anyone who once offered him a morsel of food with noble titles and wealth. Yet anyone who had slighted him, even with nothing more than a scornful sideways glance, he hunted relentlessly until they paid with their lives. The 4-character phrase Yazi by Bao has endured for 2 millennia ever since. So how did this word for a wrathful stare become the name of a dragon's son? The transformation stems entirely from Ming Dynasty intellectuals. One day, the Hongji Emperor grew curious and asked his ministers the names and roles of the dragon's 9 offspring. The prominent scholars Li Dongyang and Yang Shen were caught off guard, scrambling to compile fragmented ancient texts and decorative patterns on folk artifacts to invent a complete roster for the 9 dragon sons, assigning each a distinct identity and symbolic purpose. When seeking a name for their most combative, bloodlust-driven prince, they settled immediately on Yazi, a word inherently tied to blazing eyes and killing rage. Thus, what was once a term for petty vengeance officially became the name of the dragon clan's hot-tempered second son. The dragon princes adorn instruments, stone monuments, bells, jails and rooftops, embedded into every facet of traditional Chinese life. Among all 9 brothers, Yazi, the most ferocious, craving constant battle, was placed where his nature fits best, swords and blades. His eternal fate is to sink his fangs into frigid cutting steel. Though none of the 9 dragon sons bear their father's full dragon form and each serves a separate function, ancient people integrated them harmoniously into ordinary culture. Yazi, born from the concept of grudges and consumed by battle, is chained permanently to cold weaponry. People did not engrave him on blades merely because of his savagery, they relied on that very ferocity. In eras where families and nations depended on edged weapons for survival and defense, humanity needed an unblinking, wrathful guardian to stand on the front lines. Earlier, we covered the Qilin, a sacred beast utterly gentle, who never harms living things. Chinese culture reveres the Qilin's benevolence deeply, yet our national spirit never abandons Yazi's sharp, unyielding edge. One may choose kindness and harmony for a lifetime, yet a sword carved with Yazi ought to rest ready on one's weapon rack. Repaying kindness with kindness is our cultural refinement, avenging unforgivable harm is our inviolable bottom line, and that is the essence of Yazi.